So, a long time ago, there's this family, and they're attacked. Their village actually is attacked by orcs, and the parents, they love the kid without reason, and as a last-ditch effort to save this kid, they flee to the wilderness, where they find sentient squirrels that know how to code JavaScript. And they hand off their baby to these squirrels. And the baby is here to teach us today about building an MMO with JS Node, and WebSockets. So everybody, hands together for our next talk.
So, you hear me? So before the conference, I got this email that said, "Hey, you need to send us your bio or something." And my son just bet me that I wouldn't send the most stupid thing he'd ever heard in as my bio. So that's what that was. But thank you. That was wonderfully delivered. Okay. Yeah. So I want to talk about this stuff. So we're talking about building an MMO. And yeah, just thanks for coming to this. I know you guys have important stuff to do, like play Super Metroid, or, Celeste Chapter 9. Has anyone beaten it? No. Yes, that guy. Okay. Oh, 2. Oh, good job. Or toast, or spend time with your family. I'm just happy I'm more important to you than all of these things. So that's flattering. Oh, can I have a 5-minute?
I don't know what that means. Like a 5-minute warning?
5-minute warning? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Thank you. And if I say something really bad, just do this or something. Okay. So who am I? I'm Paul. I work at Finicity. So I'm director of software engineering at Finicity. And so I really think that just means a guy who thinks he knows how to code, but they couldn't stop the bad merge requests, so they changed my title. Anyway, I do like to code, and I like JS. I hated JS when I started learning it, but now it's kind of Stockholm Syndrome. But anyway, do you guys see these transitions? Are they coming through on this? Yeah. Heck yeah. Okay, so those end now. But anyway, okay, so I got to get those out of the way. So we're hiring at Finicity. If you're awesome, I would like to talk to you. And maybe not even awesome, just below that, I would like to talk to you too. Also, Dave, are you here? Can you stand up, Dave? You told me you'd be here. What the heck? Okay, anyway, Dave's hiring too. Dave's not here. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so you have this great idea. You're like, yay! Okay. Anyway. So today I'm going to be talking about, I guess, this horrified little sunflower. That's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing you do when you have a great idea is you register a domain name, right? That's the absolute first thing you do. Which is good advice. I support this. So I was like, hey, Dungeon Club, that sounds cool. $3,000. So the sad thing is I actually ran through the scenario in my mind. What would my wife say if she saw the bill for this on the credit card? So anyway, if you misspell Dungeon Club, okay, so now we're in business, right? Okay. So anyway, this is kind of fun. So I want to jump out of the presentation for a second. Go to dungeon.club. Don't go to the HTTPS version, though, because I didn't have time to set that up. HTTP dungeon.club, okay? I'm going to go there, too. Oh, yeah, see, it auto-redirected me to HTTPS. Sorry, a better presenter probably would have gotten that taken care of. Is it loading? Oh my gosh, the stress is killing DigitalOcean. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this was a load test, and I think we told. Yes! Okay, so anyway, you can run around and kill each other. Everyone looks the same. So, anyway, okay. So I've never actually tested this thing multiplayer before, so this is by far the most load my $5 droplet has seen before. Anyway, so you can run around, and there are little rats everywhere. I'm hiding in this room. All you guys are in the other room doing something else. There we go. Somebody, oh man, it's so laggy. Wow. What? Okay, so you just tap on the canvas, the little area. There, somebody died. Good job. Okay. You just tap on it and you can move around. So tap on the top part, you move up. Tap on the bottom part, you move down. Okay.
It's just a video, right? You're making fun of us.
No, this is live. You guys are online. Okay. So it kind of worked, I guess. Okay. So anyway, we're going to talk about this thing. Okay. I wanted to plant like a secret message in here and see who could find it or anything, but you'll probably just find bugs and nothing else. All right. So let's talk about this again. Okay, so we registered our domain name. Now we're cooking. Okay, so this is kind of like an intro to WebSockets, really. So that's the technology that's powering this. It's just a native platform feature. And this is like the description on MDM. That's kind of too long, though. Okay, so a WebSocket is really just Dave, there you are. I asked you to stand up.
Oh, sorry. I got here late.
Okay, talk to this guy if you want a job. He'd be great to work for. Okay, so anyway, this is a connection that just stays open. Now, when you make an HTTP call, right, it does some handshakes. It's really nice about it. Talks to something, it gets a response, right, and then it disconnects. So, but sometimes you want to keep talking, and you don't want to shake hands that many times, right? Okay, so this is a connection that stays open, and you can just push stuff down it from both directions. And this is really, really cool. And this is good in our game, right, because you have a rat running around, and I don't want to make like a billion HTTP calls finding out where the rats are, right? And so the server can just push that data up to me. Whenever something moves, I can push a diff of the data up. And that way, I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's how you keep everything in sync. So can you use them? Is anybody using WebSockets? I've heard about it in a couple places. Oh, nice. Good job, guys. Okay, so yes, you can use them. They're not like groundbreaking or anything like that. And they're basically supported everywhere. Okay. And so you can read about the API here, just MDN. Okay, but let's run over a little bit of code, which is kind of cool to look at it in this chalk writing. Basically, you just create a WebSocket. It's a native platform thing. I know the first thing you guys are thinking like, oh, WebSockets, yarn, add. No, stop, okay? This is part of the platform. So you can just use it. You don't have to like download 50 megabytes of JavaScript. All right, so this WebSocket thing is just a global, and you can use it. So basically, you just new it up. You give it the protocol, the host, and the port. Okay? And in our case, I had you go to HTTP because I didn't have time to set up the secure WebSocket. So there's two, WS and WSS. If you actually do this in production or something, you're going to want to make sure you use a secure version. But you connect to it, and then your WebSocket just has a few things that can happen. You can get an error. You can, when it's opened, you can do something. When it's closed, you can do something. And when you get a message. I mean, there's a little more to it, but this is basically it, right? Like, this is really simple. And so mostly what this is it opens up a WebSocket, and then it listens for messages. And those messages are going to be like, you know, a rat died or something like that. That's really kind of depressing when you think about it. But that's the game. You're stuck in a hole with a bunch of rats and other people. Okay, and what you can do is you can push stuff down it too, right? You can send stuff to the server. Okay, so now on the node side, it's not part of core. So you can't, there's not like a core package that you can pull in. So here you do have to like mess around with some packages. The one I'm using here is WS. Okay, so it's just a WebSocket. Most of you have probably heard of Socket.io, which is a great package. But that adds some other stuff on top of that. So, So this is really all you need to do. You just require it, and now you have a WebSocket server, okay? A couple of gotchas. So I talked about this earlier, but WS and WSS, right? So you can't mix your content. So if you have an HTTP page trying to make a secure WebSocket connection, your browser's going to get mad about that. So don't do that. And also, if you have a web page, like if you quit the app on your phone or something like that and you come back to it, the WebSocket's probably going to be dead. And so you're just going to be looking at a web page that does nothing because I didn't code that part. So you need to be aware of that. So what are WebSockets good for? Oh, I have a confession to make. So if you really don't know much about a topic, you stick a bunch of really cool GIFs all over your slides. So you'll see these sprinkled liberally throughout. So, okay, like why would you even want to use a WebSocket? Obviously for this. I don't know what that is, a hedgehog surfing with ice cream. Games. This is really, you could use it for games. There are other options as well. But you might want to use it for games, chat. You see a lot of chat apps, any sort of notifications. Really, in the end, anything that's evented or you have high traffic. Okay, so in that game that we just looked at, there's literally like hundreds of messages being bounced around all the time. And you definitely would not want to be doing HTTP calls for that. And if you did something like polling, you'd have lag in the response time too, right? Okay. Let's get there. Heck yeah. Okay. So now, like, what's an MMO? So I wanted to think about this while I was building this. And it's a lot of players. You play together, and you kill rats. So think about, like, World of Warcraft, anything like that. The first thing you do is, wait, do you kill a rat the first thing in World of Warcraft? I don't know. Anyway. Pretty much you kill rats. Okay. So what did I want to build? Well, a lot of people, you have to kill rats. You play together. And I guess I should have asked you to lower your expectations before you saw the demo. But, you know, I have to have this conversation with my wife all the time. Just lower the expectations, and I think you'll be happier. Okay, so anyway, this is what we're building. So this is a grid-based game. So when you played it, you could see that as you moved around, you moved from one discrete location to another. There's animation on there, but that's just graphics. It has nothing to do with the actual state. It's not actually Battleship, but I love that quote. So the state is on the server. So we have like an authoritative state, and that's all stored on the server. Your client just sends a bunch of commands down. It doesn't know anything really. Well, it knows the state, but it doesn't have business logic on the client side. And that's good because you don't want to get hacked. So the client's a display, right? So all of the state is on the server, and really what this state looks like on the server, we'll look at code a little bit more later, but it's just like a list of actors. And actors are basically two-dimensional points with some metadata associated with them. And that's how they live on the grid, and they tell you what they are. Okay, so we want to keep the business logic on the server so you don't get hacked. Okay, so if you put any of your business logic on the client side, you guys probably know this. You might and you will. You will get hacked. Okay, so that would be disappointing. And another nice tip is a lot of the times you just want to push like the final state, like whatever the calculations that are produced by your business logic, you just want to push that down to the client. You don't want to push any sort of like mutations or something, because then you have more chances for your state to get out of sync. So this is one thing, I guess, maybe just generally about games. Software. So bugs are kind of sad, right? So users can't get stuff done, like sign up for their mortgage assessments, which is sad. So we had recently like a broken regex, and people couldn't sign up for our software, and that's a sad thing. Okay, but in games, bugs are actually really fun. So in fact, you can kind of think of them as not bugs, but just maybe like an alternate expression of your intent, maybe. I kind of think of them as art. So there was a bug when I was making this, like whenever a rat moved, it would become a human, which was kind of fun. This was terrifying. I accidentally I forgot a break statement in one of my case switches, and all the walls became rats, which was good. Okay, so let's look at some code. So I've got, oh hey, some people are still playing. Here, let me jump back in. I'll punch this guy. Oh my gosh, who is that? Yeah. All right, so. Okay, sorry, I had to restart my computer, so I lost some of this stuff. I know you can't see this. You don't need to see what's on my terminal, though. Okay. Okay, so this is a really early version of the code that I just wanted to check out and kind of show you what's here. Is that good? Okay. Bigger? maybe. Is that better? There's something with JSDoc that like screws with Atom. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so this is the server code, and so I just wanted to show you how it's actually used. So you can ignore this actor thing. We'll cover that in just a second. But you pretty much just create your WebSocket server, and then you tell it to listen. And from there, really, you have stuff going. So it's really, really easy. Now, when you get a connection, we're going to run through and do a couple of things. We get a connection, so I want to create a player, and that's this actor class. And this is really just, like I said, it's kind of just a struct. Don't worry about the zone ID. But this is all it does. It just holds some data. So a player connects, right? And then the first thing we want to do is we want to send that player down. So we're pushing data to the client at this point. We want to send them the world state. And so this is just everything in the room, all of the actors. So this is the walls, the rats, the people. Well, there's no rats yet, but the players. Push that all down. And then we go ahead and add the player. And then I created this broadcast method. And all that does is it goes through all of the clients, and it sends a message. So it's just a for loop over all the clients. And so now we tell them this person was added. Okay. Now we listen for messages back from the client. And really all the client does in this case is it just tells them to move. This is the one of the ways that we ensure data integrity and that people can't hack, is the client is just saying, I want to do this thing. It doesn't say, like, I moved to this position. If you did something like that, somebody could script it, and they could, like, jump over walls. You know, they could warp around the map, do all sorts of things like that. But as long as they're just telling you their intent, what they want to do, you're okay. Because then on the server, you can have the business logic that interprets that. And in this case, yeah, just rebroadcast out that move back to all of the players. Close the socket, remove the player, and that's it. Like, that's the entire server. Okay. Now the client, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this is just an index HTML. On the client, we have this new WebSocket, like we saw that code, and same kind of listening, and then we just render it out, render the graphics out. Okay, so this is a really, really, like the very first version of the client that I built. So I'm going to kill this stuff, and we'll fire this up over here. I don't know if I can make there. That's the best I can do. What was this thing called? Demo history. Hold on. Okay. So now let's check this thing out. So this is great. This is the first version. Okay, and all you're seeing here, oh, it's really small. Well, anyway, is the HTML just accepts the commands, sends it to the server, and then the server replies with the updated state. Now this is a really good simple model. With any sort of modern game, it's not going to work like this. Like you're going to have like some sort of optimistic updates going on, right? Like the client is trying to predict so that you get instant feedback what's going on. But in this case, we just want to make it simple because we're just making a dumb little game. And so you push the button, it sends the command to the server replies back, and then it updates the state here. Okay, and then after that, you start doing things like you start adding animations, you start adding rooms, start adding everything else that goes into the game. And okay, let's go back to the slides now. So some of these things that I think are good inspiration are Club Penguin. Did anyone play Club Penguin? Yeah? Oh, good. I'm so glad you raised your hand. What's that?
Play Wild's way better.
Yeah, Play Wild is better. That's true. So someone actually reverse engineered that, though. So cprewritten.net, you can check that out. So it's just a free version of Club Penguin that you can go play. It's nice that it's being preserved for posterity. But then you can also check out the code. So they reverse engineered the server and built this. And this is also using WebSocket technology. So if you want to see how like a realistic game is built, you can go look at that source code. It's pretty cool. Other things that I think are awesome are the Dungeons of Moria. This was a text-based game from a long time ago. Has anyone played that? Yes? Oh, heck yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is all ASCII art. That was a really fun game. And also Trade Wars was another awesome MMO before the internet existed. Okay, this is all kind of a segue. I don't even know why I'm talking about this stuff. Okay, anyway, so that is how I built my game. So this is it. So you can contact me on Twitter @Domrain. Also, again, we're hiring at Finicity, so talk to me if you're interested in that. And that's the reference to WebSockets. Oh, shoot. Alex gave me a cookie, and he said I could have it if I did a good job on this presentation. So I don't know. Is that a thumbs up, Alex? Okay. Yes. All right, great. So anyway, and